Hello and welcome to NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. I'm Kevin Auctioner. Thanks for joining us. Planning ahead is essential in the cattle business. In fact, beef industry policy priorities for 2017 are already in place, thanks to the work done back in mid-July at the 2016 Cattle Industry Summer Business Meeting. Cattlemen to Cattlemen reporter Brian Baxter explains why this annual event is important to the future of the beef industry.
More than 700 cattlemen and women gathered in Denver for this year's Cattle Industry Summer Business Meeting. There was time to renew friendships and network with fellow producers. However, the primary purpose of the meeting was to set the plan of work for beef checkoff and NCBA policy efforts for the 2017 fiscal year.
This is a business meeting that our policy committees consider policy that's brought forward by our state cattlemen's associations. That policy will then be considered by our board of directors and then voted on by the members this fall in a mail ballot through our association publication, and then we'll have new policy in place as we start the new calendar year in 2017.
You know, this meeting is actually, in my opinion, the most important meeting of all of NCBA's meetings. It's the opportunity to get cattle producers together from throughout the U.S. to pass and discuss policy, and that's the guiding. That's the guiding light of this organization is our involvement in policy and dealing with Congress and D.C.
In committee meetings and as a board of directors, NCBA members reviewed some of the top policy issues facing the cattle industry. At the top of the list is TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, a trade agreement which, if approved, would help to grow U.S. beef exports.
TPP is hugely important for our industry and for our members all the way back to the ranch for ranchers like me, because roughly 1/5 of our value for every fed steer and heifer goes exported overseas. And so 20% of that value is important, and that's where our growth is going to be into the future. People have to remember that more than 95% of the world's population is overseas outside our borders here in the United States. So that's where our growth is going to lie, and so exports are going to be hugely important for future generations.
You know, trade is our top priority right now. It's important that even though there are a lot of naysayers out there who are speaking ill of TPP, it's important that producers get out there and speak positively about it and talk about how critical it is to having a vote during the lame duck.
Of course, cattle markets and price volatility were also top of mind for producers.
I think their number one concern is they're very anxious about the cattle market. We've come off in 2014 record high prices for cattle. We've seen a significant decline in that, and the cattle feeding segment of our business has lost a lot of money. So I think there's a lot of anxiety about the future of the net cattle markets over the next 2 or 3 years, and there's been a lot of discussion here about that.
Finally, in the area of cattle market volatility, we've had great discussions this week. As we go forward, we have had and we will continue with a solution-oriented approach. The CME Working Group on Market Volatility will continue.
Though cattle prices are not as strong as they were just a year ago, forage supplies look good, feed prices are down, and cattlemen and women still see opportunity for their industry.
I think just the market volatility is the hot topic when cattle producers get together at the end of last year and the first quarter of this year. But there's still some optimism there. There really is. I mean, cattle prices, but if you step back and say, in a historical view, we're not in as bad a place as we've been in some times. And I think most people see that. They may have a sticker shock when they come to my market, and maybe they haven't sold anything since last summer. But there's still an attitude of hope and optimism, because there are a lot of things that they can see going on that are good.
Reporting from the Cattle Industry Summer Business Meeting in Denver, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.